am incredibly uncomfortable. Hey guys, welcome back to the Crazy Cozy Corner. I'm Brianna, and this is the Crazy Cozy Corner. We're going to talk about this month's A to Z challenge. So this month we're reading books I and J. I'm going to tell you the books, and then I'm going to talk about that one that I've read. So we're going to read, we have read Impostors, and we're reading Juvie 3. Let's talk about the I book. So Impostors is by Scott Westerfeld, and it is set in the world of the Uglies. So this is after Tally Youngblood has liberated the pretties and all that. So basically all these bubbly people becoming, conscious that they have desires and wants now. And so it's basically human nature just coming out, unfortunately, right? And so we follow one of a set of twins, and her name's Frey, her sister's Raffia. Don't know the dad's name, don't really care to know his name, he's a jerk. That's my thing, and I'm sticking to it. And she's basically, Frey's been raised as Raffia's double, bodyguard, going out and doing things that in more dangerous situations that, like, so Raffia stays safe. So basically, you know who's the favorite, right? Oh, well, she was also just born earlier. So her only sin was being 26 minutes later than her sister. And so she just thought she existed to protect her sister. Well, there comes a time where her dad is willing to make a deal, and he makes a deal with the Palafox family, who has large reserves of metal in the Rusty City. What was it? The Rusty Ruins? I think that's what it was called in the Ugly series, but they are located near the Rusty Ruins, I'm pretty sure. And so, but the rebels, basically the Smokies from the Ugly series, the Smokies have become these rebels who want to protect the earth, and what the cities and everything are doing is basically against everything they stand for. So they like fight and try to keep them from touching all the metal and stuff. And so for protection, the Palafox family takes hostage Frey as Raffia for guarantee that the dad won't turn on them, but will provide protection so that they can excavate the materials and stuff, right? The reason they do that is because Frey's dad has a horrible reputation. He's worse with his friends than his enemies. It's pretty much. And so you don't want to be friends or enemies with this dude. So they tried to do that to keep him safe. Well, about halfway into the book, she's, learning that it's not normal what she's lived through, and she's not, she's keeping the secret and acting as her sister, but not doing it very well because she's finally being seen for her, because she's never gotten to go out and go to parties and talk with people as her, as some people that don't know her. And so we just follow her kind of learning that she might be a real person on her own and have a purpose other than, to protect her sister. No, not that she can't protect her sister, that's not it, but she can be her own person. But Cole is a Palafox, and he's the oldest son, and you know where that's going, right? There's always a little bit of romance. And, they fall in love, but maybe they're both lying to each other. I don't know. Oh, I do know. But basically her dad blows up their estate. And her and Cole are basically the only ones to get out alive, so they think. And they're on the run, trying to figure out what they're going to do. They're going to go meet up with the rebels. They're going to go join the cause. But then they find out that some of the Victorian army, which is the city that the Palafox kind of govern, they find out that there's still some left. And they're getting orders from a code book that only his mother has. And so he's like, my mom's alive. And then he thinks his like brother and these 2 other kids are like kidnapped or whatever. Turns out he was the one with the book. His mom's actually dead. Sorry, that sounded so horrible. I guess it is. But yeah, I've gone pretty far in this. There wasn't the middle was kind of slow, mostly focusing, I guess, on their Frey and Cole's attraction to one another, but it was a little slow for a little bit, but then it picked back up, kind of. They basically recruit the Victorian army and the rebels, and they launch a whole-out assault on Shreve, which is the city that Frey comes from. Could I have said this earlier? Maybe, but I'd have to remember the plot to do that. And so Cole gets taken captive, and Frey frees Raffia, but then takes Raffia's place because she knows that Cole's been captured, and so she's like, I can't just leave him with that. And so she meets with her dad, and he makes excuses for her. So she's like, okay, I didn't even have to lie to this dude. And he can't tell the twins apart anyways, so it's not even a big deal. But there was a word that Cole used to describe Frey, and promised to never say it about anybody else. And so when she's trying to communicate who she is without communicating who she is, like without saying it directly because there's spy dust or whatever in the air, she was like, yeah, you know how steadfast I can be. And then Cole knows it's her now, so it's like, yay. But she had suggested that they get married, and how it would upset Frey. And it's funny because it's Frey saying it as Raffia, so it's like, but yeah, that was the end of the book. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I like when I listen to it, I can just kind of, the parts that were a little slow, I did kind of maybe zone out, but the essence of the book was good. There's no such thing, I don't think, as a perfect book. But yeah, that was Impostors by Scott Westerfeld. It was good. But I will see you, hopefully, with updates about Juvie 3, and not at the end when I can't remember anything. I say that a lot, though, and it hasn't changed yet, so we'll find out. Me and you and me. We'll see you in the next. Alright, I finished the Juvie 3 for our J book this year, and I was really hesitant. Like, I read the first chapter and then I left it for like a week, but I finished the bulk of it today and yesterday, and I really actually enjoyed it. I had so much anxiety because I was like, oh, this is gonna end bad, this is gonna end bad, this is gonna end bad. But I was very, like, I was happy the ending happened how it did. And then, you know, maybe there's a little chance for Gecko and, you know, Roxanne. I think her name was Roxanne, right? Yes. Anyways, so the Juvie 3 is about 3 boys who are kind of down on their luck. They are in juvie, or one of them was actually in adult jail because a judge or something was up for re-election, and the boy unfortunately was a black male and was the ticket to win that election, which is really crappy. RJ, definitely my favorite little boy of the entire book, and we spent not enough time with him. Like, talent, like, if this were based on like a true story, like, I'd be rooting so hard for RJ to like just have an amazing life, and it looks like it went up from there. I don't know, but anyways, back to what I was saying. So back we have Gecko, Terrence, and RJ. RJ was being ganged up on by these football players, and he hit hits one of them, and they fell and they hit their head and unfortunately passed away. And so because he was black and the other one, the guy that he hit, was white and also like the football captain, unfortunately, you know how that went. And then Gecko was being used by his brother as a getaway driver at 14. Yeah. Or even before then. And they got caught because they got the car flipped or something like that. And I'm like, I'm kind of glad that they got caught, because not that it's good for Gecko and his record and everything, but like at least it's kind of like a curb stop, you know, like it's a check to hopefully before like his relationship with his brother, because his brother was using him and he just didn't realize it because he didn't think about it, and now it's like he's has his own head on his shoulders. And so I'm like, I'm glad he could, you know, kind of find a way out of that crime life, because it can be very difficult to get out of once you get in. Terrence, his dad was abusive, and the only time like he watched his mouth is around these gang members. And so Terrence wanted to be a part of the people that made his dad shut up, and so he got caught trying to like impress the gang, and unfortunately that's like how he ended up in jail. But then he tried to get in with a different gang in New York, which is where like the halfway house and everything. Anyways, but Dr. or Mr. Healy, Douglas Healy or something like that, he selected these boys and like brought them to his apartment in New York to kind of be like a halfway house for them. And an accident happens, and I don't even think he's a doctor. I don't know why I keep calling him doctor. Mr. Healy is somehow a John Doe and in a coma. And so you kind of follow the boys trying to keep their nose clean, and like, but they want this chance at living a normal life. And so it was really good. I actually, like I said, I finished the bulk of this in today and yesterday. And it's less than 300 pages, but definitely was worth the read. It's been on my bookshelf for years, and I'm glad this challenge has kind of pushed me to read something that I normally wouldn't grab. But it was definitely, I rated it 4 stars. It was a good time for me. But man, I had the anxiety. I was like, something bad's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. But I mean, the bad did happen, but it wasn't nearly what I thought it was gonna be. So I was like, whew, we're good. But yeah, that is the Juvie 3 by Korman. That's like a nice flowing, I don't know. Thanks so much for watching the Crazy Cozy Corner. I had so much fun talking about this month's A to Z challenge books with you. Here is where we're at now. And yeah, again, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share, comment, ring the notification bell, do all the things. Tell your friends, tell your enemies about me. You know, they might like me. I don't know. But yeah, I'll see you in the next.